Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Today we're going to learn a few things. I'm going to throw numbers at you. And you guys probably know that I'm a numbers nerd, and I want to share some of those numbers with you today because there's a new, let's call them a new lot of numbers that came out from Dr. John Lott. I want to share those with you. You ever find it funny that every time there is some kind of a shooting of some sort, an attack using a firearm, and an armed citizen stops the threat, the mainstream media, they seem to forget everything immediately. They seem to have amnesia. It's like the dog who licks his own ass on a regular basis. Even though he's done it 300 times before, he makes that ugly face after he does it the 301st time, as if he didn't remember the flavor of his own ass was bad the last time he licked it. That's what the media does. They seem to forget every time that that's what stops the next shooting. First, guys, please go check out my friends Gideon Optics over at GideonOptics.com. These guys make some absolutely great optics. Very, very functional optics, but very robust. These things can take a beating. I've actually mounted a couple of them on shotguns, and they absolutely hold zero through the entire range session. These things are good. They're also priced for people like us who don't mind spending good money on a product, but don't want to be hosed either. Go to GideonOptics.com. Again, GideonOptics.com. Use my discount code FTATF. Again, FTATF at GideonOptics.com. Guys, if you haven't seen John Lott's website, he runs the Crime Prevention Research Center. This is a place where you can go to get really good information on updated statistics on defensive gun use. He's actually got a brand new one out there. You can see this just came out yesterday. Updated cases where armed citizens have stopped active shooter incidents. And he's got them going all the way back many years. You can see the latest ones at the top, and scroll down, you're going to see tons from, again, years back. He's really good at this information. He compiles this information, and it's there for us to use to defend ourselves against these clowns out there. They always claim, they always debate that there's no armed good guys out there. Well, there are. They actually thwart these types of crimes practically daily. In fact, there's defensive gun use, not necessarily in this case where it's some kind of a, quote, mass shooting that's dissolved as a result of it, but there's defensive gun use that's every single day. In many cases, a firearm doesn't even have to be fired. No trigger is pulled, and you've defended yourself against some other crime, whether it's somebody else coming at you with a firearm or any other kind of weapon, or seeking to do you or your family harm. A lot of these instances are simply not documented. I mean, why would you? In a lot of cases, people are not calling law enforcement because at that point, it's just a paperwork thing. Like, now you're inviting law enforcement into your life. There's really no reason to. If somebody tries to come into your home, you pull a firearm on them and they scamper, some people will call law enforcement. Personally, this is just me, not telling you this is what you should do. Personally, I'm probably not going to call law enforcement. I may text a law enforcement buddy or something and tell them. But why do I want to go through the hassle of filling out the paperwork when they care less than I do about that very paperwork? And I know some people have the argument, oh, well, if you pull a gun on somebody, they're going to report you for brandishing. Whatever. This is my house. I got security cameras all around it. I have proof of whatever I do in my home, around my home, and all that good stuff. So again, not worth my time, not worth my effort to invite law enforcement onto my property just to potentially be hassled by them and to have them fill out paperwork that they don't want to fill out, and me have to waste my time when I could be doing something better. Can I share some of these with you? Because believe me, you will not hear these anywhere in mainstream media, even anybody on the right. For some reason, these people on the right that think that they're carrying the water for us conservatives, yeah, they don't. Because you don't hear your Fox Newses, even Newsmax for that matter, and I'm not trying to dog any of these places. They never talk about this stuff. And you got to ask yourself why. Because these are real numbers. So I'm going to share those with you, and hopefully you will see the value in this. Take these numbers, and again, I'm going to link you to John's website, which provides all the sources. So it's not just me stating this. He actually backs it all up with actual data. So we're going to give you this, and hopefully you will share this, use this, and debunk some of those stupid arguments out there that good guys with a gun don't stop any crimes. Here we go. From 2014 to 2023, concealed carry permit holders stopped 51.5% of active shooting incidents. Police, well, they stopped 44.6%. That seems less, right? So, concealed carry permit holders 51.5%, police 44.6%. So you mean to tell me that good guys with guns are actually stopping more attacks than actual law enforcement? Wait a minute, I thought law enforcement were the only people that could be trusted with these types of firearms. This can't be true. Because that means that your average gun-toting grandma is officially more effective at ending shooting sprees than entire squads of the PD, rolling up with sirens blazing and body armor? Yeah, you can call 911 and hide under your desk all you want to. I'm going to carry mine, and I'm going to add to that number. Police were almost 6 times more likely to get shot and killed than the average armed citizen actually stopping the shooter. Cops faced a 16.5% chance of getting killed, while permit holders, get this guys, just 1.1%. So you're telling me to leave it to the professionals, right? At this rate, there won't be any professionals left. This next one is one that I preach all the time. We talk about training. We talk about the lack of training from law enforcement. And this is not me poo-pooing on law enforcement. This is the stark reality of training that we as carriers put on ourselves. We hold ourselves to a much higher level. We understand the nature of the firearm that we have on our side, because why? It's not just something that's issued to us as part of our uniform. It's something that we choose to carry to protect ourselves and our family. So a certain level of responsibility goes with that. And again, that's not a knock on law enforcement. Law enforcement don't sign up to be law enforcement so they can carry a gun to protect themselves and their families. No, they sign up because they want to be cops, and part of their uniform is carrying a firearm. That's not how we approach it. It's an accessory to them. With us, it's a necessity, because we sought that firearm out for the sole purpose of what it can do and what we can do with it. And that's why we carry it. That's where the stark difference is. So the amount of training that we put on ourselves is much higher than any law enforcement that goes through qualifications once, sometimes twice a year. We're training, in many cases, I know a lot of you guys out there train on a weekly basis. I don't anymore. I don't get to shoot quite as much as I used to, but I bet you I'll pull a trigger on a firearm at least once a month. That's good training. That's that muscle memory. That's getting more accurate. That's becoming more accurate. That results in fewer mistakes. In 180 cases stopped by armed people like us, we accidentally shot the wrong person once. Once. One time. You know how they always talk about the wild, wild west? Oh yeah, more people. Oh, constitutional carry. It's going to be like the wild, wild west out there. One time in recent history has that happened. One time. How often do you think that happens with law enforcement? Well, not as much as you would think. 4 times more than us. That's right, 4 times they've hit the wrong person. These are guys with uniforms on. 2 of those times of the 4, they shot each other. I'm talking about other law enforcement. So 4 times law enforcement in a shootout with criminals shot the wrong person. 2 of those were civilians that they accidentally shot, and 2 of them were their own guys who had shiny badges and uniforms on just like them. Still shot them. We did it once. But let's talk about the actual carnage out there, the collateral damage, if you will. When we intervene and thwart a crime or stop a shooting, deaths are 49% lower as a result of that. Injuries fall 41%, and total casualties go down by 44%. When the law enforcement officers roll up, deaths actually increase by 16%. Not because they're bad, but quite frankly, because they get to the party late. The shooter has already made a mess of the situation and created a bunch of paperwork to fill out at that point. That's part of the problem. It's so reactionary, and it's a late delayed reaction. When you have somebody on property who's already right there in the stuff, they stop that crime right away. And in many cases, that's going to make that potential shooter leave. But with the time involved, I don't care if it's a 2 to 5 minute approach by law enforcement after somebody has already called 911. The damage has been done. Think about this. Set your clock to 2 minutes the next time you go to the range. Time how many times you can pull that trigger in 2 minutes, unobstructed. In other words, there's no law enforcement on property. A lot. A lot. So the damage is already done by the time law enforcement has got there. So that delayed time, that's why the numbers go up as far as casualties. It's not because somebody did something wrong. It's the fact that they have way more time to do something. Whereas if somebody's on property whenever the shooting or at least a threat presents itself, it's immediately done away with. Immediately. That's why you have that dramatic reduction in potential deaths or casualties. And again, you know how everybody always talks about the wild, wild west. Oh, we're not going to know who's shooting. I've heard this. I mean, people that I know that are friends of mine have told me, well, what if law enforcement shows up and they see you with a gun? You don't think they'll accidentally shoot you? Or if I'm going to accidentally shoot a cop? There again, let's think rationally about this. Again, I'm going to give you that vulgar display of logic and reason. If I'm already there is no threat by the time law enforcement gets there. I've already taken care of it. Either I have the guy at gunpoint, which is really obvious that somebody's at gunpoint, and cops don't just get out shooting at somebody, right? Now, they're probably going to yell at you, put the gun down, whatever, but nevertheless, it doesn't change the fact that I've already stopped that potential threat, or I've ended it to the point where we got paperwork to fill out, right? You understand what I'm saying? The threat no longer is breathing at that point. I got to watch what I say. Thanks, YouTube. So the real shocker here is that armed citizens did not interfere with police in a single case. Zero, nada, none, not a single one. There were no crossed wires, no shooting a cop by mistake, no cops shooting innocent people who were also armed on property, stopping a threat by mistake. Nothing like that took place. So this massive threat of this crazy wild shootout, because you got good guys and you got bad guys, and they're all shooting at each other. That doesn't happen. It's a figment of their imagination. It's a made-up fantasy to make you think, oh, I don't need to carry because law enforcement carry here. It's a myth. It's an absolute myth, completely made up, and nobody is showing any signs. Heck, I looked historically and I can't find signs of a massive three-way shootout whenever law enforcement roll up because they don't know who the bad guy is. See, there again, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. We're aware that law enforcement is on the way because why? In most cases, we called them. Like we stopped the threat. And in the meantime, we're picking up the phone, we're making that phone call. So we're waiting on them to show up. When they show up, because we hold ourselves to a higher standard, we know what to do. We know how to handle ourselves. We know how to address law enforcement. We know that if we need to put our firearm down on the ground safely and step back, hands in the air, I don't care what it is. I don't want to be shot. Oh, you don't need to comply. No, I don't want to be shot. So we know what to do because we're smart and we've educated ourselves on this type of stuff. There is no crazy Wild West mystery magical place that exists out there. This is a figment of imagination that has been stirred up to try to shame people or deter them and scare them from carrying a firearm out there. This is a non-existent place. So the next time you hear somebody yell, oh, no private citizen needs a gun, maybe they should call grandma and ask her how she stopped that last shooting at the local mall, because she likely did, and she certainly was there before law enforcement ever showed up. The right of the people to not wait for politicians or paperwork when staring down a madman shall not be infringed by those who preach safety from the comfort of taxpayer-funded security details. Because when evil walks in the door, you know what the true first responder is? Sometimes this phrase gets misused. The true first responder doesn't matter or care what your badge is, what your badge number is, who you're working for, if you're EMT, fire department, police, none of that matters. A true first responder is the first person who responds. And I've shown you in many cases That's us. So when that phrase gets misused, that first responders maybe are the only ones that should be carrying firearms, agree with them. Say, I agree with that. Because if I'm there, I am the first responder. The only thing crazier than a mass shooter is a so-called leader trying to disarm people who are actually stopping the frickin' crimes. Guys, if you like the video, please share it with your friends and family members. This is gun-related content, so it's going to be squashed by the mighty YouTube algorithm. And anything you do is helping to burst out of that algorithm clamping down. Liking is good. Commenting is good. Commenting, I like the comments because I like to comment myself and respond to you guys down below. But also sharing, that's a big deal as well. Please make sure you're subscribed. If you don't mind, please ask family members and friends to subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell, because when you do, anytime I upload a video, it's going to tell you Paul just uploaded another Truth Pimp video, and you get to go check it out. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you all tomorrow. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.